So moving on, let's go and have a look at radar, because it is the coolest thing in the system. So menu at the top, we've got radar. Let's click on that. What radar does is it gives us a view into all of the visitors in a particular space. So we can see here, what I'll do is let's resize these. And what you'll have to do here is understand that on the right, this is our visitor. So this is a completely different person on their desktop. They're seeing what we're currently looking at here is the Ducati multi-strada, quite nice. And they're moving around in space. And on the left-hand side, this is what the agent would be looking at the client. So nothing to do with the visitor. It's a different computer altogether. And they can watch as Anya moves around in space. So if I was to just move the camera here, then you can see that the radar screen updates. We only have one visitor in here for this demo, but we could have a lot of visitors on the radar screen. And as each one moves around in the space, so I'm moving about in here, and that radar screen is updating to show exactly what the visitor is looking at. We've also got a score. So again, look across to the left, we can see the radar snapshot. It is showing unveiling, score of 13 at the moment. If I make one step, then we'll see that bump up to 14 because you've got a point per step that you take. Okay. And this is just showing us what's going on. So the nifty thing that we can do now is we think Anya looks like quite a tasty prospect here, spending a bit of time in the space, looking at some nice things. So why don't we drop in on them? So if I come over up to the left-hand side, and I hover over the snapshot, then I can start a video call with Anya. I need to try and move these over there. Let's move these down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the icon that we see in the snapshot over on the left, the start video icon. And when I click that, then we'll glance across to the right-hand side. The black box at the moment says, please keep exploring. That will rotate round and present an invitation for a video call. So I'll click that start video icon on the left now. You can see the black box rotates around, and the agent that we have on the left-hand side is called Guy Martin. Guy Martin is inviting to video chat. So Anya sees this and decides, yeah, go on then, and clicks the accept button. So on the right-hand side now, we have the accept button. I'll click that. Okay. And we can see that it's giving Anya a preview in her black box. And over on the left-hand side, we now see pop-up Anya Violet accepted the video chat invitation. Okay. And here I've got a button, start video call. On the left-hand side, I'll click the start video call button. What that's going to do is going to open another browser tab, another window on the left-hand side. I'll do that now. Start video call opens up into the same experience, basically. For Zuant, we call these experiences because we've added all the nav and capabilities and so forth. So it opens up, black box swivels around, and now we see Guy. So we have Guy on the left-hand side, we have Anya on the right-hand side, and they have video previews at the moment. So they can just check that everything's fine to go into a call. And we've got the join call button in the black box. So I'll now click on join call. Let's do that for Guy. He's now waiting for Anya to come in. Anya's side, let's join the call. So we've clicked on both of those, and they'll just be dropped into the call. And there we are. So now there's a video conversation going on whilst these two individuals are looking at the same experience. So that video call can unfold. This would be any product information, anything you like, really. It's someone who knows the space, understands the product, dropping in on a visitor and helping them with their inquiries, with their product journey and so forth. One of the neat things that we're doing here is once the call has been established, then the two sessions are mirrored. So as the agent, if I thought, well, chatted to Anya and I reckon she might be into the adventure bikes. So on the left-hand side, as the agent, I'm going to move around, I'm going to navigate. I'm moving the screen on the left-hand side, I'm going to go down to adventure bikes. And what's happening is the Anya's screen is also moving, and all of the movement and navigation is being mirrored. So let's show her the multistrada. Then we can chat to her about this product. So that mirrored activity, whatever the agent does, will be mirrored across to the visitor. And actually, whatever the visitor does will also be mirrored across to the agent. So we could give the visitor control, but they both have control at the same time here. That's the current product. So we could just say to the visitor, well, why don't you just have a look around and ask me questions? So we don't have, as the agent, we don't have to drive. We can get the visitor to drive, but our session will be mirrored. So we're seeing exactly what they're seeing whilst we're chatting to them. So it just gives a wonderful interactive session, and it's layered on top. All of the activities being captured into the sales lead. So this is, we feel this is quite a tasty capability to add to Matterport. It's adding a lot of value to your Matterport scans. Once the call's done, so either party, if we look at the black box, let's go across to Andy's side on the right. Top of the black box, we have the leave chat icon. So I can click on that leave chat icon. Sure, you want to leave chat. Yeah, let's click on the leave button. Chat has ended for Anya. Let's click the OK button. Fair enough. Come across the left-hand side. The agent, Guy, has been informed. Visitor chat has concluded. The only option at this point is to close the tab that we're on. So I'll click the close this tab button. And it drops us back into radar. Now, the other thing we can do here, so we initiated that as the agent. We thought, let's drop in on Anya, see if she wants some help, add value to her visit. But Anya would also do that proactively from her side. So come across back to the right in the black box. We look down to the bottom, there's some little icons down there. And one of those is chat to an agent. So if I click that, black box swirls round again. Now I can start video. So I'll click the start video button. So yes, we've requested some assistance. I then look across to the left-hand side now. This radar snapshot is now flashing blue. You might need to make that a bit lighter, I think. But it's flashing to say someone's requested help. So we can now come over to the left-hand side, hover on this, and click on the start video icon, which I'll do now. Okay. Start video call. Same sequence now. So we're going to join this call on both sides. Swivels round, there's the preview. Join the call. On both sides, now in the same spot. And she can start to ask questions. So the agent can initiate things, or the visitor can initiate things on the side. And again, she could be moving around and say, oh, can you tell me about, take me down to the best bike in the showroom. So that's that one there. KTM Super Duke 1290R, that's the one to have, if you're wondering. And sale done. Let's terminate the call now from the agent side. So we have that option again to leave chat. Let's leave. Anya on the right-hand side is informed. Yeah, chat is ended. Okay, fair enough. Dropped back. Close the tab on the left-hand side for the agent. Drop back into radar. We're back in radar, but as Anya continues her journey through the showroom, let's go back and have a look at the retro bikes. And you can see that the radar snapshot, the agent on the left, is now showing what Anya is looking at. And we can have as many of these snapshots. I thought it'd be a bit simpler to just have the one visitor going on at the moment, but you can have many visitors in here and be observing. You'll see where each visitor is. It will update in real time to show you what they're looking at, show you what their lead score is, and then you can drop in on them. The other thing you can be just to mention it. Here's a screen capture that I grabbed earlier on. We've got Anya in the middle, but you can also fire up text chats with people. And that means that one agent can cope with several chats. Whereas with video, obviously, you can only have a one-to-one. With text chat, you could fire up a number of different text chats at the same time. This is what that looks like. So you can have multiple snapshots engaged in text chat at the same time. So that's our tour really of radar. Radar just allows you to observe the visitors. Blackbox allows you to give them a very contextualized understanding of what the space has on offer. Completely configurable. It's really easy to configure. There's what you see is what you get editor. You can create your pathways. To create a pathway, you just walk along the path. And then it records it and says, yep, fine, got that. It's very easy to use. And then the radar just operates on its own. Nothing terribly difficult about it. Just watch your visitors, see what they're up to. You can have as many spaces as you like, as many Zuant experiences as you like, and they will appear down the sidebar on the left-hand side. So you can have multiple spaces. You might have, if you're an estate agent, for example, you could have multiple properties. And you could just have this open on a monitor and observe your visitors as they wander around different properties. When you see someone a bit tasty, then you can engage in the text chat or video chat.
I was going to ask about actually using multiple digital twins, right? Let's say you are a hotel chain and you've got many locations, not just the one. How does that come up? Do you see in the kind of the white square that I'm looking at on the left side there, do you see a bunch of visitors, or do I need to first select the active radar on the very left in order to see what's happening within that specific twin?
Well, I'll click on the far left. You see the empty box with the plus sign, and let's click that. These are the available radars. This is now, I've configured these. These are all of the spaces that I have in my account. So I've got lots of different spaces, and I can just add in these spaces. They'll appear down in my sidebar. So I've got multiple spaces now. I don't have any visitors in there. So it's not going to show you the snapshots.
Can we test this? I mean, I don't know if I'm not going to pressure anybody to go on site, but if you provide a link in the chat, can our attendees, can I just go there and we see how this works, or is it not set up that way?
Well, we could try it. Let's go to our lead capture spaces. This is our test system, by the way. Let's choose Elysium because that's quite nice. So this is all of the experiences. This is your main menu if you like, your experiences where you can create new experiences and configure them all up. So I've got one called Elysium and the ellipsis menu. If I click on that, I can copy the public URL. So let's copy that public URL. Before I wasn't expecting this, but let's go and see what happens. So I think I'll drop in on it first here. Actually, yes.
And there was a question that I noticed. This is actually a good kind of segue to that question. I saw something about how the links work. Is it just a native Matterport link? No, you have to set up one of these kind of Zuant 3D pages and bring your Matterport link into that. And then what you're actually sharing with your public or embedding on your website is the Zuant 3D link that gets generated as a result. Is that right?
Yes, once you've created your Matterport space, then you just need the reference, the model reference really to that, or the share link to that. So you plug it into Zuant, and then the thing that you share is the Zuant link. I would click on that. You can see here that we've got Fred Firefox. This is a test. So this is also interesting because this is a full screen Zuant experience. So there's no black box. It's an option to say I don't want the black box. I just want to have my Matterport space in there. So minimal setup. Let's check this place out. So looking at the kitchen here, let's go have a look at our radar. So that's Fred Firefox. So that link that I've got, okay, my clipboard. How shall I put that in the chat, in the Q&A? Amir, where would you?
Chat is good.
Okay, so if you look at the link, it's test3ds.com, so it's like a big number after. So if anyone would like to click on that. We should see those people.
Live testing.
Yeah, this. Okay, so I'm gonna. So it came up with a little form. I'm gonna put in my name, email, and company. Agree, and let's go. Okay, so once I'm in here, there I am right there. That's awesome. And as I look around, it's qualifying me. The more I look around, I can see my number there just went up to 8. Is that right?
Yeah. Each step you take. And again, this is it's quite embryonic. Lead score that you see going up as you move around. Very simplistic. It's 1 point per step. But we've got plans. For example, if you're looking at a Super G car and you spend more than 3 minutes looking at it, then we'll give you 10 points. Or if you're gazing out at the sea view from the Elysium house, then we'll give you 20 points. There are different things that we could do to bump up your points. And we can sort this. For example, we look across to the far right. We're sorting on arrival date at the moment, which is why you would appear far left. Okay. But we can sort these according to other information. We're looking at building quite a lot of capability into the radar. If you sorted it on arrival date, it means the people that have just arrived would be at the top of the list because you might want to welcome them. We could do a filter where it would only show people who have been in the space for more than 5 minutes because they're the only people who are interested. When people drop in, drop out again, they don't even want to see them on the radar. And there's a whole host of filters that we're planning. Notice the one at the top in our sidebar, Dorado Min2. That means that we need to have a number of people in the space before any of them appear on the radar. And you can just imagine all sorts of scenarios where our clients, depending upon their requirements, they want to tune the radar. So you can have multiple spaces. We're seeing multiple spaces here, but we also might want to fine tune what's appearing on our radar screen so that we're going to have very targeted opportunities to actually engage with those visitors.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of makes sense that the more time I spend in this model, the more interested I am.
Yeah.
And if those get rated higher, you as an agent have a much better understanding of who you should kind of go after. First, that's awesome. This is really great. I love this demo. I love how it's live. I don't know. This is the ability for multiple people to be in the same model or even different models in one agent being on the back end with radar and really able to track everything that's going on throughout a portfolio of digital twins.
It's pretty nifty, isn't it?
Yeah. Very, very cool.
But also the fact that it's recording all of that, it's not just in real time, but it's recording it behind the scenes and wrapping it up into a sales lead. So, for example, all of this could be being pushed into Salesforce.
So, and if it happens after hours, something like that, when there are no agents, looking live at the radar, you're not losing those leads.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that is absolutely brilliant. I love this tool. When I played around with it myself, I opened up a couple models, and I like how, that's kind of what I wanted to get from me getting in here also, is just to kind of give an idea of, it's not just the one, you can have a whole bunch. Pete, we talked about this. You had, you told me a story about how, it was like 1,000, I don't remember. It was a big number of these.
Yeah.
If it was a trade show or something like that, where a lot of people were coming in because they weren't able to make it to the booth itself.
Sure, no, exactly. And in the exhibition industry, you might, on a 3-day show, get 2,000 or 3,000 leads. Well, using a Matterport scan, you could keep that live for months afterwards, and maybe double or treble the number of leads. People visiting, salespeople using it to present to customers who couldn't attend. And Event Tech Live in Vegas last week, we did a complete Matterport scan of every, the whole exhibition area, every single booth. And that's going to be ready at the end of this week, complete with the theatre presentations. So it's going to be fascinating to see the number of visitors who, we all love to go to Vegas, but not everyone in the world can do. And there's some leading edge tech being demonstrated. So I think they'll probably get more visitors to the Matterport scan than they do in real life. So that's going to be fascinating to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Not everybody can get on site, and not everybody wants to get on site. I've been to those conferences. It's pretty madness.
Yeah,
it's also very eco. So rather than, why does everyone have to fly into Vegas? Yeah, we stay at home, save the planet, but still go to the exhibition. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Okay. So that's great. Radar, you said, is a very new addition to the Zuant 3D offering. Hot off the press. Hence if you look up at the address bar, the word test appears quite a lot, because I'm running all of this in a test environment. So we have a fully fledged test environment in AWS. We're running all of this stuff. But we're looking for beta partners at the moment. So we'd like to run a beta program to this, just to make sure that the flows that we have in the user interface and so forth work well. So it's pretty much ready to go. Sometime next month, we'll be looking at having this in production. Very good. Okay, let's dive into a couple questions. We only have about a little bit more than 15 minutes left. So I did want to tackle some of these. How do you protect the digital twin from access outside of your interface? So I've got, the Zuant kind of embedded on my website. People can virtually visit my showroom, and I'm in the back capturing leads. There's this thing where you can press the letter U on your keyboard. It's not super popular, but some people may know that. And with time, that kind of may get more popular, where it gets you a deep link, and then, I've extracted the direct Matterport link. How do you protect against something like that? How accessing the direct Matterport link and kind of bypassing Zuant? I don't actually know the answer to that question. I know some I know it's possible, because I've seen some platform partners do that, where you press the letter U and it's actually not a Matterport link. So I'm not sure if
Sure. I mean, you have to give permissions to your Matterport space. So you can lock down the space so that no one can see it. And I imagine that if you do that, then we're using the API, we're using Matterport's low-level API to do what we do. So if you've locked down the space so that nobody can see it, then one imagines that there'll be a straightforward way for us to provide some security credentials to get into that space. With Zuant, you can also password protect with Zuant experience. So people have to know the password to get in there. So I think we'd be able to sort that out so that things were locked down appropriately for people.
Yeah, it's definitely something that can be done if there's any kind of security concern. I would say I'm guessing, because as you said, this is pretty hot off the press. What's a good way for somebody, with us today to reach out to you with more questions about stuff like that?
Simply just go to our website and put a request in, and we'll be delighted to connect and discuss any other applications and answer other questions in more detail.
Okay, so Zuant.com or Zuant3D.com?
No, our new 3D website went live last week, so Zuant3D.com.
Zuant3D.com. Perfect. And just go there, go to contact us and fill out the form.
Indeed. And also the lead tracking is available at no charge. So if you've already got various Matterport scans, you want lead tracking, then it's very easy to set that up through the website. So come on board, give it a try. And even ping you the leads from any Matterport spaces you've got. So it's all fully automated.
That's great. So they just go to Zuant 3D and they can actually just test it out. It doesn't, there's no cost.
Yes. No cost at all. Gets better and better.
It does. That's brilliant.
You can set it up so that the lead just gets pinged straight into your inbox. So once you're set up, then sit back and then you'll.
So you don't even have to actively go into the back end all the time. Every time there's a lead, you just automatically get pinged.
Yep. So you just see this sort of thing. So it just sends an email like to know that Annie Violet has completed a visit. This is what she did. So that comes in, and that's just the information that's also available in the lead if you do want to log in. It's just in your inbox.
Brilliant. So you know already exactly, how much time they're spending in each area, what they're kind of looking at without having been there and seeing it live. It's all documented.
Yeah.
Wow. And all that is free.
Yeah.
It's almost too good to be true. Yes, it is.
Wow. Okay. That's great. Let me pull up some questions here. So we can tackle these.
The black box isn't free, and the agent interaction isn't free, but the lead capture, just people wandering around, emails it into your inbox. That's free.
Yeah. Wow. No, that's great. I mean, lead gen is obviously a big deal in every industry. If you're selling something, you need leads.
Sure, and it's great at lead capture because there's the fact that it's tracking. You don't get this in real life. Someone comes into a trade show booth and they're wandering about and spending 5 minutes looking at this little widget and only 30 seconds looking at another widget. You don't really have that information in the real event, but you do have it with Zuant 3D. Exactly how long they were looking at whatever it is. But it's also, as Pete said, to answer your question earlier on about what are the industries. So the fact that we can create this context for the space, give guided navigation, have interactivity, really, it's not just sales leads, it's absolutely anything at all where people are interested in stuff and they don't actually want to get into their car or jump on a plane. They can just go and have a look around at all manner of different things. But think about all the different Matterport scans that exist. It's just a ton of them. It's all fantastic.